Hi everyone, welcome to the first online gambling Bible poker strategy video. I'm hoping to bring you a 6-part series or so of just basic low stakes poker strategy, playing good tight aggressive poker and just showing you the basics of how to win at these games. So I'm straight into a hand here where I just called a raise from the button with 2 jacks and checked to him on the flop. I probably could have re-raised in pre-flop, but I just chose to call on this occasion because I've just sat into these games and I don't know any of these players. Plus I was just setting up the video and clicked to call before I really thought about it. So it's an easy bet on the turn then when he checks back on the flop, so nothing too unusual there. Here with ace-6 suited, because the guy made it a little bit smaller, just 2.5 times the big blind, and he has a full stack, I'm going to call and then check to him on the flop as normal. I'd often consider raising that flop because it's very unlikely to have hit him and he doesn't really have too many hands he can continue with on the turn. And now when he calls here, it's quite likely that he has a 10, so I think a bet on the river is quite bad here. And even if he has a hand like pocket 7s, he's now counterfeited. So I'm still good if we show it down. He did have a 10, so our decision to check back there was a good one, and maybe he would have been better off betting there. Anyway, so we always try and stay aggressive when stealing the blinds with pretty wide ranges of hands. Here we don't flop much, and that's a pretty bad board, so we'll fire once at it and then give up because we do have a good shot straight draw. But it's really not a great board, and I expect to not win the pot all that often, but we got away with it this time. On the button again, we can raise 7-8 suited every single time. If you want to be really aggressive on the button, raising almost any 2 cards, because just having position in games is just such an advantage. I'm going to raise the ace-3 here, and then with the king-queen, that's a very dry board again, so it's an easy continuation bet against almost any type of player. 10-6 offsuit on the button is just a little bit too weak for me. When he calls there on the 9-9-4 board and the turn is another 4, it's just a terrible card to continue on, so I just have to check and fold here. 8-6 offsuit is just a little bit too weak to call in the small blind, so I'm going to fold here. And then I just don't think I can get him to fold any hand on the river here with the king-queen, so I'm going to give up. And we have the same hand. Good result. So it's kind of fast and furious with 4 tables, but that's what you want when you're watching these videos, as much action as possible. King 10 suited, or King 10 offsuit is an easy raise. 4-6 offsuit is a fold. I'll explain what all these other numbers on the screen are momentarily. I'm sure some of you who haven't seen them before are wondering what the hell it's all about. Queen 6, I'm just going to check this down. I don't really know what happened before the flop here. Anyway, okay, so these numbers are from a program called Hold'em Manager, which basically tracks all the hands you play and shows you information about how the players around you are playing based on the hands you played with them. So the first number here, if you look on the top right table in green beside V, is stands for voluntarily put in pot. Put money in the pot. So basically that number tells you what percentage of hands the player is playing. So you can see that this guy's playing 50% of his hands, which is way too many. So it's very likely that he's going to be a bad player. The number beside that then is raise, so how often he raises before the flop. So again, you can see this guy on the bottom left, for example, here, Donald Muck, is raising 55% of his hands, so he's playing very wild and aggressively. Ideally, you'd want that number to be around 20 at the most. Some players can get away with having it higher than 20, but sort of between 15 and 20 is a good number. So here he is coming in for a raise again, but I'm not going to get too funky with King Jack. I'm just going to call. I'm going to just bet out here with my 9 because it doesn't look like this guy has much. Then check call the flop with the king with top pair. There's no point in going crazy with it. When he checks back the flop, it's an easy bet. He may well have a queen or something weak. And he was just giving up there. King 8, King 9 suited. I don't know any of these guys well enough yet to re-raise a hand this week, especially because this guy's only been playing 11% of his hand so far. So I think it's a fairly I'll just fold until I get a better read on what's going on with these guys and how aggressive they're playing pre-flop, because this is quite a low stakes game, and I don't expect people to be getting too out of line, especially a guy who's looking as tight as he is so far. So 2 5s is an easy raise in the small blind. If he re-raises, I pretty much have to fold. A weak pocket pair like this just isn't a good hand to be continuing with. So continuing on the top line of my stats here, you can see A, that stands for aggression, and at the moment his is infinity. I'm not going to go into the aggression stat too much, it's kind of complicated to try and explain in one of these videos. And then the final number on the right is just the number of hands that I've played with the guy in blue there. On the bottom line, the S is how often he tries to steal the blinds when it's folded to him. Next to that is his 3-bet percentage, or the percentage of the time that he re-raises pre-flop. Normally, like 6 or 7 is about average here. So, yeah, I check back here. I'm just going to call a bet here. It's pot size bet, so it's putting me off a bit, and then that's a terrible river, so we just have to fold to a full pot size bet. It's an easy fold. Beside 3-bet is CB is continuation bet. So when a guy raises pre-flop, how often is he going to continue with a bet on the flop? You see most people will be in around sort of 60% or so for that stat, but it just gives you a good idea of how often they're following up their aggression. And then fold to continuation bet is obvious. It's like if someone continuation bets into him, how often is he giving up? So that's all the stats really. I flopped okay here, just a good shot, but it's not really a great board, so I'm just going to fire once again and give up. It could be argued that you could just give up here. Yeah, and in fact I think I am just, well, it's very close between betting and checking here, so I think I'm just going to check and give up. This guy raises me, I have 2 7s, easily just going to call once here because he could have any 2 cards really. When he checks to me here, I'm just going to bet to protect my hand because he could have any 2 overcards that could hit on the river. I don't really expect a worse hand to call too often here, but just betting is the right play. And I just completely waved the white flag with my Jack 8 there on that hand, which is okay to do the odd time. You can't win them all, as they say. Queen 8, Pinter off. Is this guy? No. Okay. Ace 2 I'm just going to raise. I always raise suited aces, especially these games are only 5-handed, so I very often raise suited aces, even in the first position. So this guy calls me with yeah, I'm on the fence. I think I'm just going to bet once and give up because I've absolutely no chance of winning the pot otherwise. Here I'm just going to bet as well, and then it's just total shutdown time as soon as he calls. I improved here to a gut shot versus this guy, and there's really not much on the board, so I'm just going to fire again and just give up with this one. And now the third 10 comes out, I'm just going to give up. You can't even make these guys fold any pair, so okay, I've improved to 2 pair here. So I think just a small raise is the way to go, and then fold if he raises me bigger. I think he can call me with an ace or a flush draw here, so there's value in a raise. And then I'm just going to bet once more on the river here for more value, because it looks like I may have missed a flush draw too, so he could look me up kind of light. Here I'm going to re-raise with the King 9 just as a bluff. This guy is raising 17% of hands, so he looks like a sort of semi-aggressive regular type of player, so it's good to throw in lots of bluff re-raises against these guys and keep them all off balance wherever you can. The site I'm playing on here is a French site. It's called Winamax. It's I'm just gonna call, this guy's playing quite tight, so it's called Winamax. It's mostly for French people, but if you provide them with your bank details and passport and stuff, they let other EU citizens play on it, because I think they were forced to by EU law or something like that. So yeah, it's a great site. It's very soft. Lots of French people. No disrespect to French people, but there's lots of bad players on this particular site. So here's the first premium hand we picked up, is Ace King on the top left hand table, and we'll just easily pot it here. Normally I just hit the pot button when I'm raising pre-flop, and then if I'm stealing the blinds from the button or something, that'll just make it maybe 2.5 times the big blind. Okay, so this guy re-raises me here, and he's playing really aggressive, so there's nothing we can do here but just hope to get all in. He could easily be doing this as a bluff, so I'm just going to 4-bet him to like 3, and then call if he goes all in. He just folds, because yeah, you'll find that the regular players are re-raise bluffing quite a lot, and we're always happy to get Ace King in. Again, this guy's raising the button and making it small, so it's an easy re-raise with 2 jacks. I'm way ahead of him, and he can also call with all sorts of speculative hands, so plenty of value in re-raising here. and he gives up 2. So we're down to 3-handed on this table. I'm just going to call with the ace-3 suited here. These 2 guys seem reasonably okay players, so hopefully a bad player will join the table soon. So we flop a gut shot straight draw and the nut flush draw. So I'm actually just going to check call here, because if I get it all in, I'm in reasonably well. No, actually, I'm going to raise and try and get it all in against this guy and just keep the aggression going. I'm going to make it 190, and then again just hope to get it all in against him. I've been playing a little bit aggressive, so he could easily. This isn't great for me now. I'm going to follow up with another bet on the turn. Well, we missed everything, so don't know now. I think I have to give up. I guess I'm ahead of some worse flush draws and bear jacks and stuff like that. Oh well, sometimes these things don't work out, but we played it pretty well. I'll just rebuy there. Okay. Pocket 3s is a raise here. When he flats my raise on the flop there, when he just calls, it really puts us in an awkward spot on the turn when we miss. But I think we have to fire again. Flopped an open ender here, so I'm going to fold here. Just bet 50 cents into the 65 pot with my open ender. Turn card doesn't do much for us, and it does make some good shots for him. I'm just going to raise our ace 10 here, check back, and give up with the ace 8. We had some sort of error, but I ended up winning. He had a weak flush draw, or he had, the nut flush draw, and so I showed down the winner in that one. 2 queens on the top. Pocket 4s here against 2 players. This is an easy re-raise as well with queens, and happy to get it all in as well. Just going to give up with the 4s. It's a really weak hand. I think I've already re-raised this guy once, or maybe that was on a different table. Three-way here, we can call at least once with the top pair, and now we have the nut flush draw to go along with it, so I'll just bet out for value here on the turn. And we can call it if we're raised, no problem here as well. Ooh, I will just get it all in here. This guy's only got a short stack, so we hit on the river versus his turn straight. So that was a nice result for us. We just had too much equity in the pot to fold there when he raised us, so getting all in was the only thing to do. When I raise, I think I called a raise with pocket 4s. Anyway, we got to give up on this board. It's kind of a very wet and dry board against 2 players. It's very unlikely we have the best hand now, and it's extremely unlikely that we'll have the best hand at the river. So, okay, I'll just play about, I think, one more round on each table, because I'm coming up on 15 minutes. So hopefully this video has been of some benefit to those of you who are just learning the game. We did have some interesting hands came up. The one on the bottom right here with the flush draw, I'm not completely sure about, but that's poker. If you're completely sure of everything you do, then you're doing something wrong, because you'll never be playing perfectly all the time. So flop top pair with the ace jack here versus this guy who seems to be a bit of a wild player. He minimum raises, so I mean he could be doing this with anything like king jack, queen jack, any flush draw, hand like 4 or 5. So I'm just going to call here and see what happens. The diamond isn't a great card for me, but I still have to bet. I think he might have a weak jack or something like that, and in case he has a diamond I have to bet to protect here, and obviously I'm going to fold if he raises. I won't be putting any more money into the pot than this. Now even a hand like king jack beats us. So if he goes all in here, I think we just have to fold. Yeah, easy fold. It's very likely that he had a full house or a flush there. So again against two players on a 3 flush board. I'm just going to give up with the Jack 9. Okay, so options. Sit out next big blind on all tables. Now we'll just raise the Jack 5 suited on the button here. Keep our play in position aggressive. Multi-way suited ace 9 is a good hand to play with. Flop top pair again here, and I'm going to continue for at least one street. I'll check to the pre-flop raiser and see what he does. It's a very coordinated board, but he still bets 30 into a pot of €1, which is kind of small. I called a very small raise here with ace 10 suited from this guy, and now he bets 10 cents on the flop. It's very likely we still have the best hand here, so I'm not going to fold, especially with the backdoor flush draw, which comes in. So I'll probably check call again here. The 8 isn't a great card for me on the turn here. It's very likely that one of them could have an 8, and the 7 of diamonds is an awful card as well. So we're definitely not putting any more money in here. So we just hope to check it down and show the best hand. Okay, we missed here versus this guy, so there's no reason to think we have the best hand, and we'll just give up. So one more hand. I thought I had sat out on all tables, but apparently not. Still, we get a good playable hand here. We'll make this the last hand of the session. This Moon guy we played, he's been on all our tables, and he's loosened up a bit now from his stats at the start. He's playing 18% of his hands and raising 14, so he's playing kind of tight, but fairly normal stats for a regular player. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be back with more parts to this video. What I'm going to do is just keep playing low stakes on Winamax, just seeing if some interesting hands come up and discussing them as I go. If you want to leave some comments in the comments section about how I played any of the hands, I'd be very happy to go over them, look at my play again, and see if I could have done anything better. I'm definitely going to go back and review the hand from the bottom right hand table here, where I had, I think, the flush draw and raised the flop and then bet the turn. So okay, thanks for watching, and until the next video, good luck at the tables.